For my breakfast this morning, I have 2 tablespoons of butter melting in here. I'm going to make a 3-egg omelet, and I'm going to put some Munster cheese inside. Munster seems to be like higher fat percentage than, some of the other ones. So I'm going to do a slice of that. And I already had my coffee with some fat in it, of course. So all calculated together, I'm staying at that around 80% fat mark. There is my cheese omelet, and I just topped it with some black pepper and some smoked salt. Okay, I am so full. I cannot eat these last few bites. I will save them and have them with my next meal. It's about 1:30 now, and I did consume a few things that I need to tell you about. So today is Tuesday, and Tuesday is when Lindsay and I get together for our coffee chats live on YouTube here. We switched between my channel and her channel. So we did that, and of course, since it's a coffee chat, I had to have some coffee. So I made a cup of coffee with just MCT oil powder in that one. And then the kids and I filmed a taste test video. We taste tested all of the dessert pork rinds that I showed you on yesterday's video. And I actually am going to get that video edited, and I will put a link to it in the end cards of this video. It's not posted publicly yet, but if you are, excited to see the taste test of that, I will put it at the end so you can get kind of a sneak peek at that. And then it'll be released at some point. I'm not sure when exactly yet. So the coffee plus the taste test of the pork rinds did not equal the right macros and the 25 grams of protein. But I just figured I'd let that be my meal, my second meal of the day. And then I would just make up my macros in the last 2 meals of the day. It's about 3:30 and I'm going to do my third meal of the day. I decided soup sounded good. I am going to do a broccoli cheddar soup, or not cheddar, that's Colby Jack, but a broccoli cheese soup with some chicken breast. I can only do I think it was 2.5 ounces of chicken breast to make it work with my macros. I'm going to make it creamy with coconut milk, just trying not to overdo the dairy because I've already got the cheese. And I'm also going to be adding in some butter, trying to get that fat percentage up, and a little bit of chicken stock. I will put a screenshot of all of the ingredients and the measurements of each ingredient here on the screen because, of course I had to calculate it all out to get the exact right macros. So I will just put that here so you can check it out if you're interested. There's my tiny sad serving of chicken breast swimming in my giant serving of butter. And then even sadder, that's 2 ounces of frozen broccoli. Yeah, not going to be much of a broccoli soup. It's more going to be a butter soup. Butter cheese soup. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to use Redmond organic seasoned salt for the seasoning. All right, there is my butter soup. I tasted it to see if it needed any more seasoning, and I'll tell you, it's very rich. It tastes really good. It's just very, very rich. Back out on the porch again. The weather has gotten kind of cold and rainy the last couple of days, but it's warmed up enough. The sun has come out this afternoon that I'm back out on the porch. So I'm going to enjoy my nice steaming bowl of soup, which is nice because it's not like it's summer warm yet. Again, it's still cool. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's hoodie weather, hoodie strings. So this soup is really tasty, cheese, butter, coconut milk. How could it be bad? It's really, really good. And then of course the Redmond seasoned salt. Perfect seasoning for this kind of a soup. It's really tasty. So one thing I wanted to mention that I've noticed yesterday and today is that I have had a headache all evening, and I woke up with one this morning. It's starting to feel better now. But I don't know what that's all about. If it's not related to the food, or if it's related to eating so much fat or slightly lower protein than normal. I don't know. It's been kind of weird. I also have noticed that my ketones are not going up. Not really. Not like they did on the sardine fast, not like they did on the egg fast. So I am not sure if this 80-20 thing with the higher protein is going to be an effective strategy for me to raise ketones. We'll see what it is like tomorrow morning. Although I did notice that on my ketone app, it says my sensor ends in 17 hours. So I'm not going to be able to get a full 3 days of the 80/20. So I may just make it a 2-day challenge, today being the last day, and kind of see where my ketones are tomorrow morning before I like start eating regularly again. And I'll be able to assess it pretty well. I did see my ketones go up to that 0.9 yesterday for that one little jump. And so I will be keeping an eye on it this evening because it seems like in the evenings it has been doing that little jump. So we'll see. It's possible. And then, you know, tomorrow morning on what would be day 3, it's possible I could see my ketones start going up. But thus far, I have not really seen it. They've been like between 0.3 and 0.6-ish, which for me, I can eat 150 grams of protein and get, you know, 0.3 to 0.5. So I'm like, why torture myself? Not torture. It's not really that bad, but it just is against what I normally naturally do, to eat so much fat and to eat so little protein. Like that little tiny amount of chicken that I put into my soup, I was just like, oh my gosh, I would eat like 5 times this much if I could. So anyways, we'll see. If I see my ketones really shoot up tonight and tomorrow morning, then I might change my mind. But at this point, I'm thinking that the 80/20 with the 100 grams of protein is just not an effective way for me to get my ketones up. And it is kind of challenging the idea that I've heard out there that I've thought myself, at least for my body, that when you go on a high fat keto diet, your body just takes the fat that you're eating and turns it into ketones, and that bumps up your ketones. Because I expected, you know, doubling my fat intake would result in ketones. But I actually saw much higher ketones on my sardine fast. That's when I saw the highest, and that's when I was eating the lowest calorie and the lowest fat, because it just turned out that way because it was eating so low calorie. And then on the egg fast, I saw my ketones go up. Not quite as high as the sardine fast, but I still saw them go up, you know, decently high in the 1 to 1.5 range. And I was eating less fat on those days than I have been eating the last 2 days, and I have not seen my ketones go up. So for me, it seems like low calorie and that lower protein to, you know, on the egg fast, I was around like 75 grams per day. I don't know what the driver more is, or if it's just a combination of both, the low calorie and the little bit lower protein. But that seems to be the ticket for me in order to see those higher ketone numbers. And it doesn't seem to be adding a huge abundance of fat, because you'd think eating more than 200 grams of fat and keeping your protein to no more than 100 grams, you'd think that if the fat was the driver, like the additional fat that you're eating, that I would have seen higher ketones. And like I said, I still may tonight and tomorrow. So it still remains to be seen, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking through right now. So anyways, I'm going to finish my soup here before it gets cold, and then I'm going to have one more meal this evening. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it may be a keto chow. I'm just finding that to be so convenient, especially because you have to eat, you know, I've been eating 4 times a day on this, and the calculating of all of the different ingredients to try to make, like, manipulate it to make it exactly the 25 grams of protein and the 80% fat. It's just a lot of work. And when you can throw a keto chow in and throw in 64 grams or 65 grams of butter, you know, the macros are perfect. It's just so convenient. It makes it so easy. So I may do that, but remains to be seen. So Renee and Levi were going to feed the goats, and Levi opened the door and they all got free, and now they're going to town on all these weeds. So we're just going to let them have a little fun time out here for a little bit. Just got to watch them, you know. There's strawberries. I find that surprising. No, those aren't strawberries. Those are like some kind of a weed. The white ones that close up at night. I don't remember what they're called. Ooh, these are some happy goats.
your friend. Your friend. Okay, she's ow! Ew!
Did you just peck you in the face?
No, it hit like my lip.
I was trying to eat something out of your mouth.
Ew.
Gross. It's 6:30 and time for dinner, and I am having a strawberry keto chow with butter and enough butter to hit my macros. Here's how my calories and macros ended up for the day. I got in 2,473 calories. I got 102 grams of protein, so real close to that 100-gram mark that I was shooting for. That was 16.5% of my calories. I got more than double fat grams than protein grams. I got 220.4 grams of fat. That was exactly 80% of my calories, so hit my goal there. Then I got 21.8 total carbs and 14.2 net carbs for the day. Then here is a screenshot of my ketones for the entire day. I really didn't see any dramatic rises. I never even got up to 1.0. The highest I got was 0.9, and that was there towards the evening. You can see that little hump there. Not sure what caused that little hump, but it did come back down to below 0.5. So I didn't see my ketones do anything dramatic during my 80% fat challenge or experiment. I definitely saw a much bigger rise in the ketones during both the sardine fast and the egg fast. Both of those were lower calories, so I think the lower calorie seems to be more a driver of ketones than just eating more fat. At least in my body, eating 220 grams of fat, I was thinking that would correlate to like bumping up my ketones, because all those fat grams that I was eating would be, converted into ketones and burned as fuel. I really didn't see that happen in my body. Seems to be like the lower calorie is really where I see that higher ketone production kick in, and not just the lower calorie, but I think also the lower protein. Lowering the protein to around 75 grams like on the egg fast, I definitely saw my ketones jump up higher. So I will be doing a recap here real soon of just the entire 2 weeks and all of my thoughts and everything that I, kind of gleaned from these experiments. I'll be doing that real soon, so you can look forward to that. But I'm going to leave this video here. This is the last of the CKM videos. As you can see on the screen here, it says sensor ends in 11 hours. So when I wake up in the morning, I will just have a couple more hours and then my CKM will be done. I feel like I squeezed a lot of information out of the CKM. I'm very happy with it. And I hope that it has been interesting for you guys to follow along as well. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video.